Hello, my personal canine unit. I am actually re-recording this one because I was foolish and I did that thing where I just forgot to hit start recording. So it was a 2-for-1 feature, and I just fumbled. It is what it is. We live and we learn. If I also forgot to hit stop recording on this, then I'm just going to put it as like a little addendum at the end of the previous video instead. And I'm just going to pretend that it didn't happen. So, yep. I don't recall exactly what was talked about in this video and what was talked about in the last one, so I'm just not going to touch on any of the topics, just in case. This is the Werewolf run. It was a pet that I hadn't really done much with for no particular reason. I understand the idea is just that you stat it up and then it gets big and you kill things. Mostly I would just have it be eaten by abomination sometimes, but that's neither here nor there. Now that it's gotten its buff where it gets mana during the day instead of just doing nothing, it's I think a lot more viable for just, you know, random teams. I wonder if they're going to do something similar with Sunfish. I honestly don't know if they should or if they shouldn't, because, I mean, Sunfish is pretty solid, pretty viable. But, again, just the idea of having a pet that doesn't do anything on every other turn is, I think, pretty antithetical to what they try to do generally. Just there, I hit the salad hoping that one would hit the gelada, so that the hummingbird hitting the gelada would cause it to trigger, but it didn't, and rather than buying the farmer pig, which would have probably been far superior, I did that. Thankfully, though, he is buffed as fuck, so we won anyway. Also, you may have noticed that I had a quail chick, so buying the salad was extra dumb. I just simply didn't consider that, and I got lucky. Now that we've got the farmer pig, the hummingbird with the farmer pig will give the gelada the 2 eats, and that gelada will feed the quail chick as well, so that gets us set there. Running food squads early game in this weekly was just a lot of stats, a lot of tempo. I don't think I've talked about this. Maybe I touched on it. This was one of my favorite weeklies in a very, very long time. I enjoyed so much about it, and for the feed teams in particular, you know, I felt like in early game at least, in late game you get them leveled up and they just kind of do whatever they need to do, and it's, you know, not really interesting. But in the early game, it feels like a kind of puzzle, trying to get your feed triggers arranged in just the right way to trigger things in the way that you want. You may notice that my quail chick buffing my werewolf doesn't work the way I think it does, which you're correct. What's currently going on? This is a terrible thing all around, by the way. The quail chick doesn't get triggered. Neither of the geladas get triggered. I was hoping for that level 2 farm pig, and it just didn't happen, so I get absolutely rolled here. Yeah, no chance for survival there. But that's okay. Yeah, I was hoping that the quail chick could buff the werewolf before it triggers. No, there's not a world where that happens. I put a pie there to get the gelada 1 trigger, then the farmer pig would give it another trigger, and the gelada would feed this gelada, which would give it its 2nd trigger, and by the way, this would also get triggered by this gelada. So you see where I'm getting with this, where it's like you're finding your balance of feeds to get it to do what you want. We saw that team with whale shark and beta fish a couple videos ago. I still think it's pretty interesting getting those extra triggers in battle. I like it. Didn't win, but I like it in concept. Our werewolf is just tearing through the enemy teams. A 30-30 on turn 10 is pretty insane. And then having such high mana counts is also just ridiculous. I mean, you're gonna see it right here, where it's what is it? Yeah, come down. Right, 12 mana. Yeah, that's Oh, it's not related to stats. I didn't realize that. I thought the mana game was just related to stats, but no, yeah, it's a static value. Interesting. So in very late game, it actually is worse on even turns still, which I mean makes sense. It's probably a good change, but we've got it on level 3 on turn 12, so it's gonna get big buffs. I have no idea how they got that to such high HP. Last I knew, Cassowary buffed its attack for each Strawberry Friend, so I don't really know what's going on there. We had no chance against that team though. I mean, level 2 Shoebill is just, it's some pretty fast scaling. We've brought in a Coconut Crab, and I finally learned from my mistakes and have the Quail Chick buffing a pet that actually benefits from it. See, even though it was, base stats, it got up to 2020, which allows us to demolish this strawberry axolotl mishmash. Yeah, take that. We're looking for that level 3 Gelada. Couldn't tell you why I froze the Quail Chick, but more than likely, seems like we're probably not going to need it, because we are on a race to the finish. Got 30-30 stats. Yeah, there's no world where, yeah. In summary, Werewolf is pretty strong, and I don't think I was giving it enough credit. But I also don't think I'm going to be using it much more on teams in the future anyway, because, I don't know, it never really appealed to me. And now for the moment you're actually here for, Young Phoenix. You'll notice that I have gotten every ribbon in this weekly by this point. The only exception being some of the token pets. And I had this kind of ill-conceived notion that I should 100%, quote-unquote, the weekly, which, I mean, I guess is a result of me liking it so much. So again, showing off the weekly pack. Discounting Stork and Orca, since that can be, like, anything. I was looking for, let's see, I already had Quail and Quail Chick. I had Sleeping Gelada and Gelada, I had Salmon, though I couldn't have gotten the ribbon for that in this weekly, even if I wanted to. So that Baycat, again, that's just a grab bag of, like, whatever. So that left me with Phoenix and Yggdrasil Fruit. I didn't end up getting Tanned and Tanned, unfortunately. I did get a couple runs where I had them up to level 2 and either lost or won without getting them to level 3, but I was trying something. I did manage to get my Young Phoenix achievement, and that was what I was really hoping for, though. Phoenix is a bit tough to get its token for, mostly because, you crisp your entire team when you pill it. You can either crisp it, or you can either pill it at level 1, and I guess save a perk. I wouldn't recommend that. What I would recommend for that and for other token pets that are spawned by pilling another pet is wait to kill the level 3. Obviously, Quetzalcoatl is good for getting, token pets to level 3 generally, but just getting it to level 3 in the first place is also going to be usually better. And the only difference with, Phoenix is you're going to crisp your entire team versus almost your entire team. So the main reason why you want them, you want to search for the pets themselves instead of trying to search for chocolates alone, is that you have a lot more chances to find dupes of the original pet, and you can then use those to get it to level 3, and then that's going to be a lot easier than getting the token pet to level 3 with chocolate alone. It's part of why, something like Moby Dick is so difficult, because you're just depending on chocolate alone to get you over the line. These feed teams are so strong early game in terms of tempo, just because it's such a huge injection of stats. These other teams don't really stand a chance. I had pondered long and hard how to get the Young Phoenix ribbon in this weekly, like what team I wanted to use, and I ended up just going with some axolotl goodness. It does the trick, you can't really be picky when you're trying to get really difficult achievements. As with everything else in this weekly, Farmer Pig is a staple, Hummingbird's a staple, you know, Quail Chick's a staple. I like those pets, and I am not ashamed. You can't shame me. As I'm sure some of you will be happy to hear, this is the last ribbon that I got in this particular weekly, so it's back to normal weeklies after this. You're welcome. This team confused me because you'll notice that they have a rollaway monkey and they have a goblin shark, but they didn't have the goblin shark get transformed by the rollaway monkey, so it just immediately spit its catch back out. I hadn't really seen someone do that. I don't know if they were trying to throw or what, but it was a choice. I don't have a particular reason why I sold that pet just then. I guess I just decided it was its time. I think I just felt like I needed some more stats, or not stats, gold. But thankfully, it doesn't seem like it mattered because we handily defeat them, and we are still on 5 lives, no losses, which is, you know, not what you want when you're looking for Phoenix. We're at 7 wins here. And spoilers a little bit. There is some throwing that happens in later rounds just to try and find some time for Phoenix, and that was the issue that I ran into a lot of the time. Was I would just win too fast. Like I would either completely eat it, or I would just win too fast, and that was a bit of a misplay there. I think I probably should have used the tofu to get a chocolate, but I did that instead, and so whatever. They got very unlucky there. The Phoenix hit only their own team, and yeah, I didn't even need that Phoenix to win, so it was just worthless there. Now that tofu is worthless. I don't know why I froze it. And then it's here where I go, oh crap, I'm gonna need to start throwing. Generally, you don't want to throw in scaling teams, or at least not throw in this way, because you end up putting yourself behind the line, and it's just, it sets you up for failure long term. But I felt like I didn't really have any options, so I'm just throwing and trying to get the levels I need for that Phoenix, and thankfully I'm finding it, and there's the last of them. Now, you might think, oh, you've got your Phoenixes, now just put it all back in place, whatever. But that would leave me with, let's see, 5 rolls to get a pill, and I know better than that. This game, it delights in screwing over achievement hunters, so I threw again to be safe. And watch this, I put it in, and roll, and roll, and roll, and roll, and roll, and roll, and roll. Nothing. I freeze the axolotls, because I figure, oh, I'm going to need these. And I still don't put it back in place, because again, I know better. Alright? Yep, Quail Chick gets eaten, which sucks. Except, oh, it didn't matter because we're throwing. And lose again. Except, uh-oh, didn't lose, right? Tried to throw, didn't even lose. So, now we're on the clock. Thankfully, it's right there. We pop everything back into place, and I put a strawberry jam on here to clear it, and then I make a mistake. I put it on the Quail Chick, which triggers it outside of battle, so that was a big fumble. So I'm panicking, right? I'm on turn 15 with these stats, and then I see this team. And I think to myself, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Wait a minute. And just like that, we get the Young Phoenix ribbon. Or Phoenix Chick. I forget what it's called.